In the mid-19th century, Ethiopia was a land caught in a violent storm. The country was fractured, ruled by rival petty princes in a dark era known as the Zemene Mesafint, the Age of the Princes. The central throne was powerless, and the people were weary of endless civil war and poverty. But in the heart of this chaos, a light flickered in the deserts of Quara. His name was Kassa Hailu. Though his father was a nobleman, Kassa grew up in humble circumstances. Legend says his mother sold incense in the streets of Gondar to support him. But Kassa carried a fire in his heart and a singular, impossible dream: to see Ethiopia united under one flag. He began his journey as a rebel leader, a shifta, but his tactical genius and bravery soon became legendary. Finally, after defeating his rivals at the Battle of Deresj in 1855, he was crowned Tewodros II, King of Kings of Ethiopia. Tewodros did not just want to rule, he wanted to transform. He looked at the world and saw that Ethiopia was falling behind. "I will make my country as civilized as Europe," he declared. He began by abolishing the slave trade, building the first modern roads, and restructuring the chaotic army into a disciplined national force. But his greatest obsession was technology. He understood that without modern weapons, Ethiopia could never defend its sovereignty. In the village of Gafat, he gathered European craftsmen and ordered them to build a miracle. Under his intense supervision, they forged Sevastopol, a massive 7-ton mortar. It was a symbol of African ingenuity and ambition. However, the road was not easy. Internal rebellions and the stubbornness of local lords began to weigh heavily on the emperor's spirit. The turning point of Tewodros' reign came from a simple letter. The emperor wrote to Queen Victoria of England, proposing a Christian alliance and requesting technical assistance. He waited for a reply that never came. The British Foreign Office had ignored his letter, an act of perceived disrespect that cut the proud emperor to the core. Frustrated and feeling betrayed, Tewodros took a drastic step. He imprisoned the British consul and several other Europeans at his mountain fortress. This news sent shockwaves through London. The British Empire responded by launching one of the most expensive and complex rescue missions in history. Led by General Robert Napier, a massive force of 13,000 soldiers, 26,000 camp followers, and even war elephants landed on the Red Sea coast, marching toward the heart of the Ethiopian highlands. April 1868, the British army arrived at the foot of the Magdala Plateau. Tewodros' army was outnumbered and outgunned by the most modern military technology of the age. On the plains of Aroj, the Ethiopian warriors fought with legendary courage, charging into a hail of British rocket fire and Snider rifles. The losses were devastating. Tewodros watched from the heights. He realized the end had come. Rather than surrender or let his people suffer more, he made a final historic choice. On Easter Monday, as British troops breached the gates of the fortress, the emperor stood alone. "I will never be a prisoner of the white man," he famously declared. He took a pistol, ironically, a gift from Queen Victoria years earlier, placed it in his mouth and pulled the trigger. As the emperor's body fell to the dust of Magdala, he secured his place in history. The British were stunned by his defiance. They looted the fortress, taking thousands of priceless manuscripts and crowns, but they could not take his dignity. Today, Magdala remains a sacred site of Ethiopian memory. The name of Tewodros II is synonymous with unity and the birth of modern Ethiopia. Though his reign ended in tragedy, his sacrifice ensured that the dream of a strong, independent nation stayed alive. His story teaches us about courage, the price of modernization, and an unyielding love for one's country. From a humble boy in Quara to the defiant lion of Magdala, Tewodros II remains the architect of the Ethiopian spirit.